We're all thinking it. So I'll go ahead and just say it. We're in it for the summers. And it's just about here. Congratulations. You made it. Welcome to the Teach Bigger podcast.
Welcome to the Teach Bigger podcast. I'm Chris Pratt.
I'm Chris Mosley.
And I'm Tyler Lamont. Oh, happy day. Happy day. Happy times are here again. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. It is small, but it's getting brighter and brighter every single day. The summer is here. The birds are chirping. The kids are crazy. The curriculum is getting lost. There's paper everywhere, and it's fantastic because there's a day where it'll all be over.
Hallelujah.
Yes. You know, I will say that I have noticed as I've walked into my school this was Teacher Appreciation Week this past week. And, everybody just kind of got a smile on their face. And the teachers have already begun. You see them in the hallway. They're like, 13 more days or whatever the case may be. You know, they're saying numbers when they see you in the hall.
And I'm counting the class periods.
Wow. Yeah, I'm telling them, man, do you know how many things I have to do in these 13 days? It doesn't matter that we have this. I said, I have so much to do. We have so many things going on until the last day of school. I said, I'm just putting my head down and I'll pick it up with the last day of school. So, we don't stop. But yeah, I've counted like 5 countdowns so far. And then here's the funny thing, right? So whenever you go and you read their board, you're like, oh, we have 15 days. They're like, oh, no, you actually have 14. I need to go correct it.
Yeah.
They correct you really, really fast, but it's coming. It's almost there.
I have noticed that the kids are antsy. They want to get out, whatever. But the last 3-4 weeks of school, I think they're probably the most structured days in the entire school year because it's so cut out with it's standardized testing, it's STAR testing, and then finals. And you know what I'm saying? And then there's makeup hours, and there's not a lot of time left of the school year. So I feel like everything is very well, it should be at least very well organized and stamped out. Like it's very cut out what you need to do each day.
Here's what I feel like now. This is the only time. Okay, so here's the thing. For me, this is kind of my first year because this is my second year at my school, right? Mm-hmm. And so last year we didn't get the end of the year, So this is kind of my first end of the year here. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how to do things. And I feel like right now, school has ended because like every day they're having some type of test. Like we had STAR tests and then we had AP tests. Then we had STAR and AP tests together. So it's literally been like tons and tons of kids out already on top of the virtual hybrid people, and the people are not coming to school. So we had that going on, and no one really knows what to do. I can't do things with like 3 kids here. So I've been having to modify. So, and it's going to happen again next week. And then after that, next week is our seniors' final week. The seniors' final week. And then after that, they graduate. Mm-hmm. And then, so it's just like a quick slope down out now.
Okay, so let me just say that's weird to me that seniors take their finals at a different time than everybody else. When I was in high school, they didn't do that. It was just like, hey, here's your chemistry final. We had a completely different schedule. Kids came in late and you only came to school for that one period that you had to do. But there was no seniors take their finals first and then they leave.
Well, so I think maybe the thought behind that is that they try to get the seniors out as quick as possible so they don't get antsy and do things that are stupid. That's they graduate them early. If they don't have to be to school, they're like, okay, seniors, you don't have to come this day. You don't have to come this day. So they just don't make bad decisions. That's what it is. And I'm okay with it.
Look, let me tell you right now, all my elementary friends are saying, how come they can't do that for the 5th graders?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. That's different. Yeah, I'm okay with it because it's less kids in the building. It's, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. That's true because when I was in high school, there was a senior prank and it was always done the last week of school or whatever. And it was a big deal and it was never really a prank. It's just all the seniors got in the hallway and blew horns and silly stringed everybody. It wasn't really it wasn't very thought out.
Something exciting to them.
Yeah, I guess it was just exciting to them. When I was a senior, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I wasn't really a part of it. Didn't see much to it. But
so So speaking of summer, I don't know if you guys do this, but like during spring break, spring break is the taste of summer. It starts to warm up. So like always during that break when I have like a bit of freedom, I always start to make my plans for the summer. I'm like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do, and I make a list. I'm gonna do this. I'm going this place. I'm gonna do this. Last year it wasn't necessarily planned because the world was shut down, so it was like, are we gonna have a summer? What's going on? But so like this year and years past, I always like, okay, I'm going here. I'm gonna do this, and I like put a note on my phone, and I do that. Do y'all do that or no? Probably not.
Not during spring break.
I do a lot of planning.
You do a lot of planning.
I have my whole summer planned out.
Well, you normally work in the summer. I feel like. Well, is this going to be like your first summer off?
This will be my first summer off in 7 years.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let me tell you, I am going to live it up.
You deserve it.
I
always tell everyone I'm a live like a college kid in the summer. I live like a college kid in the summertime.
Well, I have children, so I can't do that.
Yeah,
per se, whatever that means. But
children, that's a bad life decision.
No, it's great. Look, here's the thing. I'm super pumped because we're gonna take our first ever family vacation ever, like with my wife, and my children.
Okay, where y'all going?
We are gonna go to San Antonio, which is about 3 hours from where we live.
Okay.
But we're gonna go and we're gonna maybe do a little theme park kind of thing for the kids.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so we're going to have a blast. And this will be our first time to ever just
They'll
go.
be excited.
And do, because our kids are little.
They might be over the theme park, but we'll see how it is.
Yeah,
we can't wait to hear that episode.
Yeah, we'll see. But, this, my kids they are really young. And this is kind of the first time where we thought, okay, they're old enough now, we might be able to function. So my youngest is still 1 year old. But up until now, we've had...
What do you normally do in the summertime? Let's go around and do that. What do you normally do in the summertime? Just work. And that's it.
I literally, because until this year, for the past 7 years, I've been on a year-round contract. Because
and we've been wondering why you're so unpleasant and unhappy. It's because you work all these summers.
Were you on a year-round contract even when you were band director?
I was.
Yeah, he was.
So the head high school band director was on.
And let me tell you, he tried to get me on one, and I stomped my feet and said, "Absolutely not.
Right.
You can pay me $10 a day. I'm not going to a full year contract because I need my summers."
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So, Tyler, what do you normally do in the summertime?
So, normally what I try to do is I look at all the things that I did not accomplish throughout the year because I was too busy working.
Yeah.
And then I stupidly try to accomplish a year's worth of work of extra stuff within the summer. I get extremely overwhelmed. It doesn't happen. And then I go to the beach and fish.
Oh, you're a fisher.
He's not.
But what I'll tell you is that this summer, especially because my girlfriend loves camping, it is jam packed with stuff. So and this is kind of allude to what we're going to talk about a little bit later, but we are going on a 9-day round trip driving to Colorado to ride some train with my girlfriend's family.
Yes.
We're all going to be in a van with her.
So y'all are driving to ride a train?
Yes.
Okay. No. Okay. There's this train that I see that it like goes across the country and or it does that or like up the western seaboard too. And I'm interested in doing that. So I'm kind of interested. I'm not being funny on this one. I am interested to see like where does the train go?
I'm not entirely sure, but there's some type of passenger train or whatever. So we're gonna ride.
Yeah, I want to ride one.
It's a night thing, I think. It's like overnight or whatever, or day trip or something. But they're not gonna stay in hotels on the way up there. They have camping sites. So on our way up there, anywhere we stop is gonna be a camping site. We're gonna set up our tents and we're gonna do that stuff or whatever. Okay, so they're planning to get back by like the 13th or 14th. And then on the 12th, the Teach Bigger team is going on a trip, and we'll talk more about that in a second.
What?
I know, foreshadowing.
Who's paying for that?
Right.
Ooh.
Gotta get an invoice.
Right. And we're doing that from the 12th to the 17th, and then I'm taking about 4 days off, and then we're going camping again, just me and my girl. And then on the day we get back, I'm going to a guy's fishing trip in Galveston, and then another week off, and then we're going camping again, and then I got some professional development, and then a few more days off, and then we're going camping again.
Oh my
and
gosh.
a few more days off,
That's
and
a
then I
lot.
go to professional development, and then we're going into our conference that we're going to be. We'll talk more about that in a second.
Wow,
And then
that seems pretty packed.
yes, it is the most packed summer I've ever had.
Oh, that sounds fun.
But I'm actually excited that I'm going to go because I have made 2 goals of my life that I want to achieve passively.
Okay.
And one of them is travel. I want to travel more. And I don't mean like go to Paris. I mean, I just want to get out of the house. I want to go
Paris
down
is
to
nice.
the beach. I want to go to San Antonio, places that aren't too far, about 3-4 hours away.
I'm with you on that.
You know, I mean, that's nothing to drive that in a day, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I mean, we're in Texas. That's nothing. People up north are probably like, bro, you're insane, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I heard somebody say
That's
this once.
busy.
I heard somebody say this once that I think goes with this, and I really thought about adopting this. Well, I try. They said you can spend your money on 2 things. You can either spend your money on things or on experiences. And I was like, you know, that is so valuable. I would way rather spend my money on experiences because
I
that
agree.
sticks with you
Yeah.
forever.
Look, okay, my Aunt Terry Lynn, she has MS.
Okay.
And she's had it since she was like, I don't know, 13, 14 years old. She's now like in her 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first got my first full-time job, I took her out to eat because we joke, I say she's my favorite aunt on the Lamont side, even though she's my only aunt on the Lamont side.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, she's always been taking me out to eat my whole life, whatever. So I was like, I finally have money. I'm going to take her out. And she looked at me dead in the eyes and she said, Tyler, I wasted my entire life trying to save up money so that way I could go travel when I retired. And now I'm retired and I can't travel anywhere because of my health. So now I just have all this money that I should have spent when I had the time to spend it. And she looked at me, she said, do it smart, but spend your money.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. She's like, go travel and do things while you can.
That's good.
And I thought, you know what? You're absolutely right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I know every time I come back or like just travel somewhere, it like changes my whole outlook on like life period. You know, like you get, I don't know, it shows you how much is out there, you know, like, you know, like when you get on a plane and go somewhere else and like this whole functioning civilization at the same time as you are, but you're like 5 hours, you know, it opens your eyes. And when you come back, it's just new perspective. Yeah, so I that's one of my favorite things to do is just travel. That's what I'm trying to get back to that this year. So that's the goal.
Look, and we're going to a place called Mckinney Falls. It's near Austin. If you have not been there, it is gorgeous, and you should go there. The camping sites are not that expensive. There's power, there's showers and bathrooms.
Oh yeah,
which is I never thought I'd be this person, but a shower is a big deal to me now. The older I get, probably because I'm stinkier.
Right, it's a big deal to those around you.
But I say, yeah, it's a bigger deal to people around you.
But
McKinney Falls, okay.
McKinney Falls, there is a beautiful little watering hole that's there, and you can see like how the rocks and stuff have been eroded, and it's like a small little waterfall kind of deal. It is definitely one of the hidden gems of Texas.
Wow.
That's good.
But don't tell anybody. I don't want a lot of people going.
Yeah, right. Like I'm writing that down right now. I'm trying to fill up my list. You know? So I think, you know, in the summertime, I usually try to just rest as much as possible. I like to take random naps. I do because we don't get that during the year, just for no reason. I was calling, I'm like, I'm gonna take a nap. I'm like, okay. And you know, I like to travel. I usually take one big trip with a group of friends, and we travel like all around, like we've been all around. And like we're trying to get back to that this year, you know, like do a reunion trip, I guess, you know, just to kind of get back into, you know, and that which we love. I spend a lot of time outside in the summertime because as a marching band director, I have to condition myself so I don't pass out in front of the kids. So, so I just stay out. I mean, like I did a lot of hiking last year, like a lot of biking. I worked out outside. I made sure to spend a couple hours outside, and sometimes like in the hottest part of the day, just to be outside. I like swimming. Like I love being in the water.
Yes,
Yeah,
me too.
I've been to 2 of the top beaches in the world.
Where?
What?
And,
Where?
in Miami, North Shore, and then Nassau, Bahamas.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I've been like the Caribbean. I've been to Jamaica. I've been to like beach wise, Hawaii. I mean Hawaii. I said that. So like the Virgin Islands and stuff like that. So I've seen some like beautiful beaches, and I got some like really nice waters and stuff. So I'm really not keen to go in the water here. So like
what is it the flesh eating bacteria, or is it the alligators? Is it the swampland?
It's all the above,
Okay.
So I try not to get in the water here, but I mean I do like to go. Like I've gotten up a lot of times this past summer, and I just drove down to Galveston and like watched the sunrise and sit by the water.
Oh, that's my
and
favorite.
I've gone biking like early in the morning down there. Got my bike, went down there like 5:30, 5:45 a.m. I did a lot of that. Yeah, I did a lot of that last year. So that's probably going to happen this year. I'm, got a couple other things on my list, more things. I love Austin, so go to Austin, do some kayaking, some, I want to do. I have ziplining on my list because I haven't done that yet.
It's not as fun as you think.
No, yeah, really? Why?
Where did you fall off or something?
You think that it's really exciting. You think it's really intense, and you're just like, yeah, zip lining, yeah. And then you get strapped in, and then you just go, and you're just like, and you're like, okay, cool. I guess I'll like pull up my phone and play some Angry Birds or something while I'm going.
Like, maybe you went to the wrong place.
Maybe.
So. I hear zip lining is really fun.
Maybe I did. Maybe I was on the kiddie slope or something.
Have you ever ziplined through the jungle?
Climb through the jungle?
No, have you ever ziplined through a jungle? Like
through
were you like on a ropes course, or were you like at a scenic destination?
Were you at Chuck E. Cheese, or were you at a real place?
Right.
Okay. Full disclosure, I've never actually gone. I've only seen a whole bunch of videos on YouTube, people doing it, and and every single video is like, "This was not worth." Wow. And I'm like, "Oh, maybe I won't do it."
Yourself. I went when I was in Hawaii. We went parasailing, and that was so much fun.
Really?
And one thing I want to do this summer is I want to get on a boat, rent a boat with like some friends, and go out on the water and do that.
Oh yeah, that sounds.
So if anyone wants to take me on a boat trip, I'm down for that.
What kind of boat? Like a little,
canoe,
a cruise ship,
like a party boat,
Oh, a party boat.
Yeah, just to be out on the water. Or if you have jet skis and you want a good friend to ride with you, I'm really good company. I want to get on jet skis because jet skis are like one of the funnest things for me. I just haven't done it in a while.
I've never done it before.
It's so much fun. Yeah.
Okay, there's a place in Galveston. It's on 61st Street. It's like right as soon as you turn off of 45, or I guess it's not called 45 at that point, but you turn off of that main drag and go into it. And there's a place. And have you seen the videos of people, they get like their feet get strapped into the thing, and then it puts the water jets down and like pushes you up or whatever.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can rent one of those, whatever, for like, I don't know how much it is, but I've always wanted to do it, and I always see it advertised, and it went away for a while after Harvey or whatever. But man, okay, I'll tell you this, Mosley, because you brought up the sunset. So my family used to have, well, they still have the property, but they don't have the beach house anymore. In Bolivar on the intercoastal side.
Okay.
And you can literally you watch the sunset just sizzle in the water. And I have definitely been known to like, oh, it's 4:00. I guess I'm going to drive all the way from North Houston all the way to Bolivar just so that way I can try to catch the sunset and just pop up a hammock or because we only have like 2 pylons left from when Harvey destroyed the building. And I'll just sit there and like, that is it, man. I
think I went to Galveston like 3 times to see the sunrise last summer.
That's beautiful too, on the seawall.
Yeah, I just go over there and I just sit and like,
that's my
wait
favorite.
for it, you see what time it's gonna rise, and then get a good breakfast and then come back. It's a good thing, like especially living here, it's not that far. You get that whole beach experience, and I feel like I've taken a trip to the Caribbean kind of, but I just don't get in the water.
Yeah, and then you can go to the spot and eat at the spot.
So I mean, it's a good thing to do. It's a disconnecting thing. So the main thing I try to do in the summer is not think about work, even though I do, because you have to but I try not to think about work and try not to do work necessarily. So I can feel like I had a chance to, release, and in the summer, I just try to do things that I want to do, for myself and not, I really don't like to be on any agenda, because during the school year as teachers, our lives are full of like bell to bell, ding, ding, ding. So back up. I remember maybe it was my going to my second year. I didn't realize how much we lived by the bell until like, okay, so we went home for the summer and then I went back to school and then like the bell rang and I like stopped in my tracks. And I'm like, oh, I haven't heard that in like months. And it just, and which made me realize like how we just live by the bell. So like, we're so regimented about time and schedules and be here and whatever. In the summertime and the weekends, I've tried this on the weekends too. Like I try not to have any agenda, really, and like not focus on any, like being at somewhere at a certain time. So I can feel a release, from the everyday. And that helps too. So whenever it's time to go back, I'm like, okay, I feel like I haven't had to do that. Because if you do it too much, you burn yourself out in the summer. Even if you do a lot of traveling and vacation too much in the summer, you'll burn yourself out because usually I know I went to Europe and I needed a vacation from the vacation because I was exhausted. Yeah. Like I slept for like, I think it was like 40 hours or something like that when I got back from Europe.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, and I woke up and I went back to sleep. It was like for a good 40 hours because it just takes it out of you, especially if all the different modes of transportation you got to take. If you like fly, you got to do layovers, you travel, like that takes a lot. It's fun, but it does weigh on you, So you got to put time in there so you can just relax.
So, okay. So go ahead, Tyler.
Okay. Well, I just want to say this thing and then you can do your thing. But if you're out there and you're having trouble like finding joy in the things that you used to find joy in, because this happened to me, especially as soon as quarantine ended and we had to come back and there was just so much happening, right? And like the things that I would find joy in with drumming or going out for a run or playing video games or just hanging out with friends, talking to them, whatever. Like I wasn't finding joy in any of these things. Maybe it was because I was feeling overwhelmed, probably, like whatever. My suggestion to you is don't force yourself to do things that you used to enjoy. Wait until you have rested, wait until you've slept, wait until you've done something. And then if your first thought is work, then go sit back down and rest, because that means that you haven't unplugged yet. And then when you decide that like, hey, like I'm ready to do something fun that I want to do again, then do it. And you'll find yourself that you'll enjoy it a whole lot more. Otherwise, if you force yourself too much to do things that you used to find joy in, you're having a hard time finding joy in it again, then it will become like work and you'll feel like work, and then it'll suck the joy out of it even more. So my suggestion to you when it comes to that stuff is rest and just watch Netflix, whatever, sleep, take naps, do whatever you got to do, because you've obviously have poured so much of yourself out that you don't even have enough of you left to enjoy the things that you want to enjoy, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. Speaking of pouring, I think you should just make sure, and you keep a gauge of this, because August to December is a long time. If that's the next time that you get more than, I guess Thanksgiving, but some people get the week, some people don't, but like 2 weeks, So like during that whole time, you're giving to the kids and, you're doing that, and you only have the weekends to kind of refill. So I think that it's super important that you get a good refilling, if you know what I mean. Refill and refuel during the summertime, because once August starts, you're going to be drained after the professional development finishes, so that takes a lot of you already. And then you got to plan for everything. So you have to make sure you start at a good high as you go into August. That is super important. So as the traveling and things like that happen, also make sure to take the time just to do things to invest into yourself, things that help you grow, like, any interests that you have, explore those. Give you something like to light the fire, and you do find things in the summertime that help light the fire for whatever content that you're in, so you can continue the passion, because you do want to take the time to do some professional development and things like that. And we normally do that in the summertime, but it's still more laid back, but you still want to do that. So you have some momentum going into the school year. So you want to do that. That's the part of the refuel. So I think, as you're making plans, if you already have or not, think about what are you doing to refuel yourself so you can start with a full tank, because you start to pour out in August and you don't really have until December to fill back up.
Yeah.
So what do you say to someone who is like me, who they're like, but I have so many things I have to do, and summer's the only time, kind of like Tyler was saying before, like summer's the only time I can get this done.
It can wait. Well, now here's what I'm gonna say. I would say if you're someone like that, I would say put a limit on it. Like, if you're that person that, like it's gonna bug you to death to do that, I would say put a timer on it. Like, I'm only gonna work 1 hour on this a week, a day, or something. Yeah. Then after that, it's just gonna have to wait. It's like it's the summertime. You're not starting until August or whatever. But because I think, and then like you have to have days where you don't do anything, you don't do any work. So I would say get on. If you're that person, I'm gonna pray for you. But if you I'll get a calendar or something and then mark it out. You have 1 day, 1 hour this day, or 2 hours this day, and then you need to have days in between that where it's nothing connected to work, so you can get away from it. Because if your brain is always thinking work, and it's gonna almost feel like you're still at work. So I would say that, and put a timer on it. And then once it's done, just put it away for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say at Sam Houston we had a saying in the percussion studio. It was if you're gonna wash the rice, then wash the rice. And what that came from is, I think it's an ancient Chinese proverb. I don't know where it came from, but the story is that there was this this cook who wanted to be a better cook, and then there was like this monk that came in who was going to teach him how to do stuff better and more efficiently. And he watched the cook work all day and everything like that, and the cook's like doing 1,000 things all at once and like doing all these things. And at the end of the day, he like turned to the monk. He was like, "Okay, what kind of feedback do you have? What can I do to get better?" And I'm sure I'm butchering this proverb or whatever it is.
Yeah,
but the monk says, "Take a breath, stop. And if you're going to wash the rice, then wash the rice. Don't start it and then stop it and then move somewhere else or like whatever." So when I was in college, we took that as like, if I'm going to sit down and watch Netflix, then I'm going to sit down and watch Netflix, and I'm not going to think about a darn thing I got to do.
Yeah.
If I'm going to go to the library and I'm going to study, then I'm going to go to the library and I'm just going to study. I'm not going to worry about like whatever. So if you're one of those people, then my suggestion is wash the rice.
Yeah.
And like what Mosley said, schedule it out, but don't fall into this trap, because I fall into this trap all the time where you're like, okay, well, I'll wake up at 5:30 and then I'll go to bed at 9:30. And then I have all these hours. I'll block off 1 hour for lunch, and then I'll just do an activity every single hour. And then I just won't stop. You won't be able to work. You won't be able to function like that. What you need to do is say, hey, I'm going to wake up at 9 so that way I can sleep in, because there's no reason for you to wake up. I'm going to go to bed at 9 or 10 so that way I get a really full night's sleep. And then I'm going to choose 4 hours out of the entire day where I'm actually going to do something that is quote unquote productive. Maybe it's for work. Maybe it's a side project. Maybe it's a side hustle. Maybe it's something like one of these things. And I'm only going to work it for those 4 hours. And then everything else is going to be me relaxing, me doing something else or whatever. And I would not extend past that.
Let me tell you what, here's what I think. Okay. I think teachers, you cut that alarm off. Don't you put an alarm. Don't you set an alarm in the summertime. Don't you dare. You sleep until you wake up, because you don't get a chance to do that during the school year, because you have to be up before the crack of dawn, So here's here's my suggestion. Because I'm a good rester. Okay. I got my master's in music, but I also have I double majored in resting. Okay. So I would say don't set an alarm, and then be flexible about like when you're gonna do it. If you say, you know what, I'm gonna do this from this time to this time, then you're gonna be looking at the clock, and then you're gonna think, oh, well, I only have 1 hour to do this, or 1 hour to do things you enjoy, or like 1 hour to go outside and work out, or something like that. I would say if you're gonna do that, wake up when you want to wake up, because that's different, right?
That's true. You wake up
wake
way
up
better.
when you want to wake up. So it doesn't matter what time it is. Wake up when you want to wake up, and then whenever you feel okay, like this is the hour that I'm gonna do it, then do it. I would say like the pre-planning thing. All teachers, we plan all of the time. We plan to plan. Then we plan before the plan, and then after we're done, we plan about the next plan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think get rid of the plan. Just wake up when you want to wake up, and then whenever you feel in your spirit that I'm going to work on work, then you do that. But then you limit it, and then you move on. That'll help it feel less like work, less regimented. And then if you that person like Pratt that has to do that, then
See, now I'll say it mostly like that wouldn't work for me. I know for a fact it wouldn't work for me because I would feel bad at the end of the day that I wasn't productive and that I didn't take the time to be productive. That's why I feel like I have to schedule out that time, and I limit myself. I'm saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to sit down and I'm only going to do this YouTube video or whatever, or I'm only going to plan. And I'm not even talking about work for school. I'm talking about just
your
like
own stuff,
just my own stuff, whatever. That's
kind of different,
like work, but it can still consume you nonetheless the same way. Mm-hmm. So that's what
we're just trying to make a plan for everyone. You have some
that's true
experienced resters, and then we have some people that they have to, they're busybodies. And we're trying to make a plan for all. We just want to make sure that everyone under the sound of our voice has a plan for the summertime, that you can get some rest and feel like you've had a chance to disconnect.
Now let me interject this plan.
Okay.
If you have children, none of this applies. Because your children,
you're very right about that.
They run your life. Because when they wake up, you have to get up.
They ruin your life or they run your life?
Well, I said run.
Okay.
So here's the thing, though. Here would be my advice, and this is what I'm hoping to do this summer. Although I'm going to sleep as much as I can, and thankfully, me and my wife will take shifts. But I will say this. I would encourage you to be spontaneous with your kids. Now, I know for some people you don't want to be spontaneous and you got to plan everything to the second. But maybe some days you just go, you know what, today we're just going to go to the park. And that's all we're going to do. And that's fine, Or maybe we're going to go play outside in the sprinkler or whatever you're going to do. Like, be spontaneous with your kids. Have fun. Because that can bring just as much energy and excitement to your day to just kind of be a kid again.
Yeah, you know what? That's true, because I remember when it's one of my very earliest memories. I must have been about 5 or something. I don't know. But all I ever wanted was a slip and slide. And my mom always told me no because they were dangerous and I was going to break my arm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And one day she bought a slip and slide. Mm-hmm. And that day of the summer was probably the funnest day of my entire life. And it was a blast. And then it was also the saddest day because as soon as we were done, she threw it away. But
really,
for those 4, 5, 6, whatever hours that I was slipping and sliding on that slip and slide, which let me tell you what, those grandbabies get slip and slides all the time and don't think for a second that I have not noticed. But anyway, it was fun. It was fun. It was a spontaneous thing, and it was special because I wasn't allowed to have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah, surprise your kids. Have fun.
So I have a question. So I said this on the show a while back. I don't remember. And I said it was about this. She's a screenwriter, Shonda Rhimes.
Oh yes.
And how she says for that year for her kids. Speaking of people with kids, she said she said she would say yes every time her daughter would say, "Mommy, do you want to play?"
I like that.
And she said that like that brought her joy too. She said every time she would say yes, she said she wouldn't want to play with me long. She said, but she did want to, like, she did enjoy that time and that helped her out. Do your kids actually ask? Do they ask you to play or no? Yes, they do.
They do, and I try to say yes, but I will tell you, I don't think my kids. They're very close in age, and I think that they get excited and they kind of have their little play routine. And yes, they do ask me quite a bit, and I try to engage with that as much as possible. But I tend to be a no dad. not to say I don't like.
Well, you're no person,
right? I mean, like if they say, we play with us, it's not that I say no to that, but it's anytime they want to do anything that I think is potentially hazardous or it's going to cause a mess or destruction, like, hey, can we play with slime? No. Hey, can we do this? No. And my wife always catches me. She's like, why do you always say no? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I realized, like, I don't have a reason. I just, that's what parents are supposed to say. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like, it just doesn't sound like it fits into my lifestyle very much.
Yeah.
And so, like, okay, having to clean up, so for example, my wife tends to say yes to a lot of things. And so the other day, I came home to discover that there was acrylic paint all over the outside of the perimeter of my house, my dwelling place. It was on the sidewalk. It was on the threshold to the door. It was on the screen doors. It was out in the yard in the grass because my children had decided to get acrylic paint. See, I would have said no. No, you can't have any.
You gotta say yes every now and then.
But my wife was like, yes, and so that's why I say no, because I don't want the mess. So, but I think this summer it would be good for me to just say yes sometimes.
You know what? This is a teacher moment too. Here's what I realized. I've done study. My students, I think they respect me because I'm brilliant, but two, because I give and take. Like sometimes I just let them. Well, a lot actually. I just let them be laid back, and I don't harp on things. Like we had a spring concert last night, and then let me tell you what these. We had a spring concert where we played this, great literature and their award-winning show and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then they come in the band hall, and what they do, they get on like the bass drum and they start playing like marching band 3-note jams. Mm-hmm. And you know what? And then like everyone's looking at me, and I just roll my eyes and said, "Let them do it. Like let them go." And they're all getting in a circle, and they're all like doing this. And the bassoon player, okay, brilliant, gets on the bass drum, and he just like. Mm-hmm. banging away, but I folded it. I was like, let them do it. Just let them do it.
Right.
And they saw, and they know how regimented I am about everything else, and they see that I let them. I just say, go ahead, without them getting out of control. But I told that to one of my colleagues. I said, here's how you win. You let some things, not the bad things, but like let them be sometimes, because I think they're so used to being harped on 24/7. Mm-hmm. Whenever they see you like give them some room, they respect it. Yeah, they respect it, especially the high school kids. Now middle school, elementary kids, you stay on their neck all the time. But like high school kids, like I give them a bit of room, and whenever I want them to like bring it in, they bring it in. But anyway, that's my teacher moment. But that's something I realized. So. That again.
I think that's awesome, because also at the end of the day, like as a teacher, you're wanting them to create their own, now granted they were probably playing like things that they already knew, but they came to that's a musical moment. Like that's an amazing thing that they came together and just wanted to jam out. Like those are some of my best memories of all time.
Now, I'll let them go.
Now I will say, Pratt, I kind of get you saying no, because when I was in high school, I didn't have kids, but I was like the responsible one in the group. That all changed when I went to college. But when I was in high school, I was the responsible one in the group, and everyone would always ask me like, "Hey, do you want to do this? Hey, you want to do this? Hey, you want to do this?" And I was always like, "No. Like that's going to be potential of this, and I want to deal with it, and like whatever." Well, I soon realized that saying yes, and now this probably won't work with your kids, but it works with my high school kids all the time, that saying yes, they just want to hear yes, then they don't do it. like they'll be like, "Hey, mister, can we get on our phones and play our games and blah blah?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, that's fine. If you can do that while you're doing your work and everything like that, like just make sure you're doing your work, otherwise I'm gonna take up your phone. But yeah, go for it." And I look around, everyone's still doing their work. Oh, you don't want to play your game? Oh, I just haven't gotten to it yet. Oh, okay.
Right.
Like, okay. Hey, can I stay after school and can you teach me all this extra stuff about streaming? Oh yeah, sure. No problem. Like, come on. They don't show. Cool. A lot of times kids just want to hear yes. And I think it's because they're told no all the time.
Yeah, a lot. They are. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, fine.
That's a good point.
That's good.
Okay,
good
so we have to address one more group, and this one's a little bit tougher, but I think it's worthy of bringing this up. So what do we say to administrators and those who are not going to have a summer break per se. Like, how do we?
You better
help
get it
them?
together because
Here's
we're
what I'm
going in August.
Right.
I'm gonna say,
No, look,
I'm gonna say,
because-
I will keep you in my prayers
No.
as I'm on the beach.
No, listen,
That's all I can say. That's all
no,
I don't know
because
what else to say.
Let me tell you something. I have lived this, and I'm not saying this happened to me, but I think that those people have to work hard not to grow bitter and not to be discouraged and frustrated, because, you know, and I would say you chose that position, and it carries a lot of weight and responsibility, but it can be hard sometimes because all of your peers, all of your colleagues, I mean, even if you're the principal, and I mean, maybe these people, you know, ultimately you oversee them, but they're still people, and they're still the people that you have relationships with, and they are all unplugged, but you're still doing the grind every single day, you know. And that's hard. And I know, like, in a lot of districts, they'll let those staff members will do 4 10s, so that way they can do 3 days off. But a 10-hour day is grueling, especially when there's no people there except for you and maybe your secretary. You know what I'm saying? So what advice? I'll start with a little advice that I have.
I don't have any advice for them.
I got a little bit of advice.
But
Go ahead.
my first advice is this.
I'll try to think something.
Don't allow yourself to compare, right? Because you're doing something different. And the fact of the matter is, those people, they do have vacation time built into their schedule. They get 2 weeks vacation, and most of them will take that time during the summer. But instead, embrace that time and realize it is your time to ultimately serve the people that you're with, because what you're doing in that time is you're planning and preparing for their return. And you are leading them, and you are there to welcome them back in and say, here's where we're going next, because you're in that position, because in some capacity you are a leader in that district and you are a visionary. And so I think this is a perfect opportunity for you to be able to rest in knowing that. And let's face it, once most of the staff leaves and the teachers are gone or whatever, it's a lot easier because you're not dealing with people, and that's the hardest part of your job. And so that is a break, and that is a change. And yeah, it would be nice to spend, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 9 weeks doing absolutely whatever you want or nothing, but that's okay, because your career and your path has led you to something greater, and you are in a role of service, and you can't forget that, because those people need you to get a plan and get a vision and be ready to lead them and guide them when they return. They're trusting you for that.
That's well said.
Okay, so I've never been an administrator, but and you probably don't want me as an administrator, but
no, we can agree.
What I'll say is that when we have professional development days and there's no students, I count that as like almost a day off, because it's way easier.
It is. I like those days, actually.
Those days are so much easier.
I always say the job would be so great if there were no kids.
I know.
I said that too. I said, if the kids would just go away, I can do my job.
Right, exactly.
I know. So my thing of it is, and I have a running theory that one of the reasons that teachers get burnt out fast, or they get like whatever, is that they deal with kids 24/7, and they don't have normal human adult interaction. Right. And I think that's the one of the main reasons why there's a disconnect between teachers and administration and upper admin, because especially upper admin, they don't deal with kids hardly at all. I don't want to say that they don't ever deal with it, but they don't really deal with kids at all. They deal with adults, and they're able to have adult conversations, and they're able to talk a certain, there's a certain level of it that they're able to do, and it helps them build a little bit more of the camaraderie. So I would say that the way teachers feel about students is the same way that admin feels about teachers.
Yes.
So take the moment and relish in the fact that you don't have a teacher knocking on your door, being like, so-and-so picked his nose again. Don't relish in the fact that you don't have teachers knocking on your door saying Miss So-and-so is being a bad colleague or whatever, that you don't have to deal with all the bad relationships that are going on, because as an admin, especially a principal or AP, you're dealing with the stuff that nobody else wants to deal with. And for the most part, that's not happening during the summer.
Yeah, that's true.
I would say too. I mean, that's exactly right. And I guess every situation is different. But I guess for the admin part, like I would give them the same, the same information I gave earlier, just to disconnect. And you have to look at it. It is a change. It's a change in like our normal way. Like 410s, at least you do get the Fridays off, Saturdays and Sundays. That's different. The teachers are gone, so you can look at it like that. Usually, you can be more casual in the summertime. So that's something to look forward to, like all the small things. So you're an inspiration to us all administrators, and we thank you for what you do. And you just have to make sure to pour into yourself too. It just looks different.
Yes, it does. It does. And take that 2 weeks, because let me tell you, when I was working year-round contract, out of my 7 summers that I didn't have, I only took off 1 summer. I only took my vacation 1 time. And so you
were way better. Like you were way more pleasant after that. I remember.
I know. So I would just tell you need to take your vacation. You need to do it. Don't skip it. It can wait 2 weeks. You can get it done. So, all right. Well, so I think let's wrap up this episode by maybe giving a little bit of insight into some of the plans that we have for this summer.
Because we're planning. We're planners.
Yeah, we are planners. That's right. And so we're excited. There's a lot of cool things that we're getting ready to launch here within Teach Bigger. And if you just started listening to the podcast is part of what we do. It is the main part right now of what we do, but we're going to grow, and we're doing some innovative things. And our goal is to be able to reach more educators and give them more support and assistance, and really be content for them to help them grow. And so that's one of our missions here. So one of the things that we're going to have the opportunity to do, as Tyler was speaking about earlier, is we have planned a trip where the 3 of us, the Teach Bigger team, we are going to spend a few days in the happiest place on earth, so they say. So we are headed to Disney World, and we're going to do that. And that is very strategic. And I mean, look, 3 grown men were headed to Disney World, but there's a reason for that. Okay.
Because it's fun and it's the happiest place on earth.
That's the reason. No. Here's the thing. We have all had the opportunity to do trips like this where we're taking students, us being extracurricular teachers, band directors. We've taken kids. I've taken kids to Disney a couple of times. I've taken them to Universal Studios. We've done some different things. And we always come back from that experience as educators, and we usually totally take our planning and our lesson design to a totally different level. We have been so inspired by so many of the things that happen in those amusement parks, because it helps you to see things from a much different perspective. And for once, you're not the one in charge of creation. You're the one in charge of experiencing the experience. And it puts you back.
That's an experience.
It is. And it puts you back in that role of a student in a way. And so one of the things that we want to do this summer is we're going to go to Disney with this in mind. We're going to go for the Disney experience from an educator's point of view. And we want to bring this content to you of how you can start to design your classroom and your lessons so that students have an experience with your content rather than get the information. And so we found that there's probably no better place than Disney to experience that ourselves. And so what we're going to actually be doing is we're going to be vlogging that time. So if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel right now, I'll be honest, we don't have a ton of content on the YouTube channel. That's one of our big goals this summer, is to start building that channel up with more content. But this is going to be one of the things on the YouTube channel, is we're going to be vlogging our time at Disney, and we're going to be writing some strategic attractions and doing some different things. And then we're going to break it down about the experience we have and how that relates to the classroom and what we can glean from that experience, and hopefully give you some innovative and creative ideas that you can grab a hold of and say, that's a cool idea. I want to try that in my class. So we're going to be doing some experimenting while we're there. We're going to have a good time, but we're also going to keep our educator hat on while we're there and make sure that we're really drawing from that experience, and we're able to share some insight and some creative and fun ideas with you as well.
One of the cool things that we're also in the works with is we're actually talking to one of the a local school about doing a camping trip, similar to the one that we always talk about here on the show, with their class and with their kids, to help build the culture that they are wanting to see. There's still a lot of things in the works of like what needs to go on, a lot of things, redlining, tape work, and everything else like that we got to figure out. But we're extremely excited, and we're gonna probably bring that back to the table and have that teacher on, talk about how it affected their classroom and things of that nature. So I'm extremely excited about that.
Yeah. And then next, we're also going to be working this summer, and we are going to hopefully over the summer, and this will mostly come out through our YouTube channel, like I said, but we're going to be providing some professional learning and some content over the summer. So I want you to make sure that you check that out. And lastly, one of the things that we're really excited about is, for years we have gone to educator conferences and we've been the recipients of the information and all of that kind of thing. Well, for the first time, Teach Bigger is going to have the opportunity to actually be an exhibitor at a conference. So we'll be going to the Texas Bandmasters Association conference in July, and we'll be speaking with music educators from not only Texas, but all over the United States. People come in for this. It's one of the big educator conferences for music. And although Teach Bigger is not exclusively about music educators, it's about educators in general, we want to reach out to that crowd because, of course, that's a crowd that's dear to our heart because that's where we have our background from. So we're going to be sharing Teach Bigger with them. We'll probably be recording some live interviews and getting to know some of the educators down there and just kind of sharing this, message of, there are teachers thinking outside of the box and doing big things, and we're going to go see what people are doing. So that's going to be really exciting. So what I would encourage you to do is to stay in touch with us over the summer. Although we're not going to have a podcast stream all summer long, we're going to be doing content in other ways. So I would encourage you to go to our website, teachbigger.com, and join our mailing list. And then whenever you join our mailing list, we're not going to spam you. We're not going to send you mail every week. I ain't got time for all that. But what we will do is when big events are coming up or we're going to push out new content, we'll just send you a quick reminder, a quick email. So that way you can go like, oh, okay, this is cool. I'll look forward to this. So definitely go to teachbigger.com, join the mailing list. Also, you can connect with us through social media. Feel free to ask questions. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. If you have questions over the summer or at any time, or you have idea for a show, or maybe you're saying, Teach Bigger, I wish you guys would talk about this because I'm really wanting information about this. We are here for you. This is not just us having ideas and throwing it out there. We want to build a community, and we want you to know that we're really a personalized source for information for you. So we'll do the research, we'll do whatever it takes, but we want to help you out. So feel free to contact us in any way.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of add on there, if there's any type of conferences or any type of things that, because we're really looking into that, we're trying really hard to figure some things out. So if there's a conference or something that you're like, hey, it'd be really cool to see you there, let us know. Drop it in the DMs, send us an email, something like that, and we'll look into it, and we'll definitely see if we can make that happen.
I would say this too: there are any administrators that work in a district that you're hearing like, you want to bounce ideas off of us, or you want us to come in and do something, I think we're open to that too. Yeah. And just to kind of maybe, I know the beginning of the school year is coming up right now, a lot of admin there trying to figure out what can we do to like start the year off right, build culture, and things like that. So if you want to collab with us, we'll be more than happy to give you ideas and or pop up and do maybe an activity or something with the staff to get the year started off right. This is the time to do it now. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, and don't forget about our shoutouts that we're starting to do. We started a thing last Monday where if you know of a teacher that you just feel is like they're giving it their all, they're really teaching bigger out there, then let us know. Like send us an email, send us a DM or something of a short bio of them, or like what they did that makes you think that they did something that is worthy of a Teach Bigger shout out. And even if it's just them retiring, like maybe they gave 30, 40, 50 plus years to the cause, and now they're retiring. I mean, that's a heck of a time to do it. They didn't retire before COVID. They saw it out, and now they're retiring. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like send us some type of message, a picture if you can, and we'll put them on social media. We'll put them on our webpage. We'll put them out there and give that teacher their 15 minutes of fame that they deserve.
Yeah. And lastly, I would say we are working on our podcast schedule for next season. Okay. It'll be season 5. We'll start that off next August. And so if you know someone that you think would be a great guest on the show, feel free to go to our website to the podcast guest page, and there is a place where you can nominate a VIP. That would be someone that we would interview on the show. So if that's if you've got someone you're thinking of, or maybe you say, like, you know, I have some things I think I could bring some value to the table. I want to share some things I'm doing. We would love to hear your story. So definitely check that out. So hopefully today encouraged you. The light is at the end of the tunnel. It is almost summer, so get your plans ready. Be ready to relax. And
sunscreen.
Yeah, so we are going to have a couple more episodes before the season's out, but hopefully this kind of gets you your mind rolling and you're ready to see a close to a great year. So thanks for listening today, and we'll be back with you next week.